Good evening, you're with the News at 10 Agenda. I'm Maldas Gopalakrishnan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's not hidden from the rest of the world that Taliban needs Pakistan for its sustenance. It's only because of the deep state in Pakistan that the Taliban has been able to survive the 20-year onslaught of the United States in Afghanistan. However, Pakistan would have us believe otherwise. They have denied all of this many a time as far as public fora are concerned. But we have not one, not two, but three instances and three statements that are coming out of Pakistan that reveal the truth as far as this entire matter is concerned. Try as hard as it may, the truth about how Pakistan is really rejoicing the return of Taliban in Afghanistan is there for all to see. Take a look at these reactions. It's Prime Minister Imran Khan himself who is the first amongst those who talks about how in Afghanistan shackles and chains have been broken, slavery has ended. Listen in. And if that wasn't enough, here's former Pak diplomat Asad Durrani, who confirms the role of Pakistan in aiding and abetting Taliban. He in fact comes out and says how Islamabad has seen this as a fight for freedom from US rule.
After all, if there are people in Afghanistan who are fighting against the foreign occupation, and Pakistan has its own reasons to get rid of the foreign occupiers from its neighboring country because of the spillover, because of the sympathy for the resistors, freedom fighters within the country, then the Pakistan should try and give whatever support it can under the circumstances. And I think it did very well.
You were watching the News Hour at 10. Agenda, debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
All right, let's take this across to our guest. Joining us live with us is Shazia Ilmi, spokesperson of the BJP. We also have with us Arisan Singh, author. Joining us with us is Wahidullah Taniwal, Afghan national. Also with us, Qamar Chima, political analyst, is with us from Islamabad. Omar Altaf is another journalist joining us via Skype as well. But I first and foremost want to go across to the person from Afghanistan. This is Wahidullah Taniwal, who's an Afghanistan national. And I want to begin by asking, Wahidullah ji, can you tell us today the pain and the suffering of the citizens, because people are looking at it as some kind of freedom struggle. That's what's being propounded by Pakistan and several others. Is it really a freedom struggle, or have citizens in Pakistan being shackled once again today?
Yeah, good evening to everyone. To be honest, you can see the scenes from Afghanistan, what's going on, the chaos, the maze, and the strives of the people in the Hamid Karzai International Airport. People are like so much shattered, it's like something very horrific is happening there. And it's like a humanitarian crisis there. All the peoples are just, they are trying to flee from the country. They want to leave the country because no one is granted for their safety. The people, the youths, the activists, the women rights activists, and the people who work for NGOs and also work in the military aspects of the government. So everyone is just shocked like that. And it's like a very, tough times for us. To be honest, like everyone is just like depressed, no one can imagine how things turn such in a different way for every citizen of Afghanistan, because we haven't imagined such circumstances. It was something unexpected. In the entire world knows who did this, how it happened, and who is paying the price for this horrific trauma in Afghanistan.
Right. Let me bring in on that note. On that note, in fact, one can understand the pain and the suffering, Mr. Taniwal. Please stay with us because I want Qamar Chima to respond to that. Qamar Chima, this is the voice of a citizen of Afghanistan. There is no freedom struggle there, sir. I'm sorry. I think you've got it completely wrong. This is how the citizens of Afghanistan feel shackled and are shattered today. They're all dying to escape from Afghanistan because of the oppressive regime that has come into power. And your country calls this a freedom struggle?
Well, sir, I think the point to ponder is that why the elected representative and the elected government of these citizens did not stop the Taliban who were taking over Kabul and other cities in Afghanistan. Why Taliban are everywhere in the country and the Afghan forces have not fired a single shot. Who will answer this? Why the Afghan president has left the country? Is this
I will answer
are these
it.
the representatives
I will
of
answer this,
Afghanistan?
and many people
why
have-
they are
have
why
the
they are
answer
running out of the
already.
country? They gave the power to the Taliban without fighting. This is not how the state or
Sir,
the nations
Can I answer?
behave.
Sir,
The
coming
fight
for a
against
country
the
that for
non-state
20
actors
years has propagated the
will fight
Taliban, that's
against
very
the
rich.
non-state actors.
That's very rich, Kamar Chima.
Sir,
Given that you have aided and abetted
sir,
on both sides of the Duran line, the Taliban, but we
Sir,
have Shazia Ilmi, a spokesperson who wants to respond to you. I'm going to allow her to respond to you. Shazia Ilmi.
So I don't just speak as a spokesperson here, but I think everybody knows, and it is the Afghanistan president and vice president who actually talked about the use of Pakistan airspace and air force, which was actually used to dislodge their elected government. So I don't know why Mr. Chima is acting naive and so cute. I don't think he should, and he doesn't have any right to. I think he should really be ashamed of his own government, because we all heard about the stories about how the Afghan envoy's daughter was abducted and molested and treated badly, and all that went on. We also know that the militia in Afghanistan was from Pakistan, and there were people, there was a backing for Taliban within Pakistan, and the numbers outweigh the army in Afghanistan. And it is these squad plus 90,000 militia who were entirely vested in the Pakistani system, and spoke to and listened to and surrendered to the will of the terrorist network and the sleeper cells existing in Pakistan that led to the ousting of a democratic elected government. Having said that, Mr. Chima, I don't think
Right.
you have any business saying that you don't know anything about it. People are running helter and skelter because they don't know what to do. Because Taliban was prepared. They came in, and this is how they drove out people in droves. People are holding on. Just look at them. I mean, it's so sad to see our Afghan brothers and sisters go through this. This is insane. And I'm so glad that India has spoken at
Let me bring in Omar Altaf. The humanitarian crisis and the scale of it isn't lost on anyone, Shazia Ilmi. The humanitarian crisis is just not lost on anyone. In fact, I will try and reconnect. All right, I'm told there's a technical problem. We can't connect with our guests there from Pakistan. We will try and connect with both of them in just a minute. But let me bring in Arasan Singh on this. Arasan Singh, here we have three, not one, not two, but three instances from Pakistan. Imran Khan himself calling this unshackling of Afghanistan. Then you have others who welcome the Taliban regime from 22 crore Pakistanis, as well as somebody who's very, very close to the security establishment there, who knows what is what, Asad Durrani, who comes out and says that Pakistan has been backing Taliban. It couldn't be more transparent than this. There's not even an attempt to hide it. Of course, diplomatically they might, but the fact is that Taliban has been growing only because of Pakistan, and the whole world should now seek response from Pakistan on that. Colonel Arsan.
Caution. Yes, I must caution. People who are arriving at premature assessments that any country where the succession is not orderly is never enduring. Take it from me. It has never happened anywhere in the world, and Pakistan is the problem. Pakistan also has the same problem. In fact, most Islamic countries in the world, the succession has been it has been marked by patricide or fratricide, and we all must realize. I don't know. I've been hearing debates raging in the country about giving reaching out to Taliban or making some bridges with Taliban. We must realize that the path that they have took that they chose to arrive at this to this critical point. Well, the path is strewn with suicide bombers. I mean, their entire war fighting was based on suicide bombers. Trucks, vehicles laden with explosives.
Absolutely.
Now, once they are in governance, do you expect them to do the same thing? And do you attribute so much to their fighting prowess? When your entire war fighting machinery is predicated on suicide bombers, do you expect the Taliban to turn a new leaf? Secondly, do you attribute so much of fighting capability to that organization? The world must think over it. The world must think over it. And for one is not being swept by the developments. I'm actually fed up of people making too many premature assessments. And I reiterate that anywhere where the succession of rule is not in order, it never endures.
Yes. Well, and who is to blame? Who is to blame but for Pakistan? And Omar Altaf, we've got a clear insight when Imran Khan himself says that this is unshackling of some kind. This is unburdening of some kind from some kind of slavery. Unfortunately, many citizens of Afghanistan, like the gentleman sitting on this panel, will tell you, no,
yes,
sir,
I mean,
Afghanistan has slipped back into slavery. It has slipped back into the worst kind of regressive mindset that humanity perhaps knows today.
Yes, okay. Now let me respond. What is India doing to alleviate the suffering of the Afghan people is my question. And when is India going to recognize
First
Taliban?
answer what Pakistan has done to create the suffering. First answer is what Pakistan has done to create the suffering, Mr. Omar Altaf. First answer is that. Why have you perpetrated Taliban? Why have you protected them for 20 years? Can you explain that first?
Let me respond. Stop interrupting. Let me respond. Pakistan hasn't created any trouble
Then
for the
stick to the topic at hand.
The Afghan army and the corrupt Afghan government who failed to defend their country, who failed to defend their people, who didn't have the stomach to fight. They were armed.
So what do you mean by unshackling?
Salaries were paid by.
What do you mean by unshackling, sir? Pakistan Air Force has provided cover. Across both sides of the Durand line, we know what Pakistan has done as far as Taliban is concerned. It's all very well documented. Why not just come out and say this? Your own army officers have come out. You want to listen to what Mr. Durrani said? You want to listen to what Mr. Asad Durrani said? He is no Indian. He is a Pakistani who's saying that.
It doesn't matter what Asad Durrani said or what Siraj.
Ludicrous claims. So you're calling your Prime Minister ludicrous. Very well done. Very well done, Omar Altaf. You're calling your own Prime Minister ludicrous. Excellent. 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 I'm sure this is being watched in Pakistan. I'm sure this is being watched in Pakistan. But let me bring in Shazia Elmi on that note. Shazia Elmi, here is a gentleman who says it's a ludicrous claim. He says it's a ludicrous claim when it's his own Prime Minister there who's on camera saying that this is some kind of unshackling moment. Slavery has ended.
I mean, imagine calling it unshackling and talking about slavery. I thought Imran Khan, at least one thing he knew was English, and some basic vocabulary. You would give him that, right? Cricket and his education in Oxford. But we need to redefine slavery. We need to redefine, freedom. If he thinks that this is the end of slavery, I am shocked by what Imran Khan has said. I would never imagine that he would say this at this point of time. When you see scores of Afghani men and women running helter-skelter, feeling the uncertainty, holding on to the wheels of airplanes, if you please, and walking through 2 kilometers, taking them 3 and 4 hours because there's such traffic jam just to get out to the airport or somewhere. I don't believe this. I mean, is this what Imran Khan is saying? And that there are people on your channel right now who defend this end of slavery? I mean, treating women and girls like that's end of slavery. Removing a democratically elected government, that's end of slavery. It's using whipping men and women into acquiescence. That's end of slavery. Forcing young boys to keep beards and forcing 15-year-old girls to marry,
Yes.
talibs.
Well,
is
absolutely,
that-
and unfortunately, that sense of urgency, that sense of responsibility does not seem to be there with our panelists in Pakistan, despite the fact that multiple voices from Pakistan are celebrating while the world weeps and looks at the unfortunate events of Afghanistan. There are people in Pakistan who are virtually celebrating. Sirajul Haq, Asad Durrani, and even Prime Minister Imran Khan, all of them eulogizing this moment, celebrating this moment. All of them feel that something great has happened, Mr. Cheema.
Well, I think
I give-
the people of Pakistan have sacrificed a lot for Afghanistan. You remember, millions of Afghan refugees are in Pakistan, and for the daily lives, whatever Afghans need, that goes from Pakistan. So Pakistan right now and Afghan people are sitting together. The only thing what we want from you is stop sponsoring.
We have
terrorism,
sacrificed. We have aided and abetted
stop supporting
Taliban. That has been a sacrifice.
Stop supporting Daesh in Afghanistan.
You have aided and abetted terrorists, and that has been your biggest sacrifice.
Non-state actor, if you can stop supporting TTP in Afghanistan.
You know, Mr.
I think
Cheema,
that Afghanis and Pakistanis
Mr.
will be very
Cheema,
happy
as a
for that.
global terror factory, as the biggest exporter of terror globally from your eastern and western fronts, you know, this is an amazing definition. Colonel Arasan Singh, it's a sacrifice, says Kamar Cheema. It's a sacrifice. They've exported so much terror, they've supported so many terrorists that this is a great sacrifice that Pakistan has made for the world. And sacrifice for what? For propping up the Taliban after 20 years. What a wonderful sacrifice, sir. Colonel Arasan, would you like to compliment Mr. Cheema on that interpretation?
No. When we talk of Afghanistan, I mean, you know, normally we talk about AFPAC region, you know, Afghanistan, Pakistan region, because the same ecosystem, you know, same global jihadi ecosystem prevails in both the countries and areas around. So what Mr. Cheema has said, I'm not at all surprised by it, because he is also a part of the same ecosystem. But I must warn the Pakistanis, I must warn Mr. Imran Khan, what if the same method and route to succession was used in Pakistan against him? Where will his destination be? Will he go to London? Where will he run away? Or will he run away to Kabul? Because sooner or later it is going to happen. He was put in chair by manipulating Tehreek-e-Labbaik, manipulating the Barelvis. All the Pakistanis on your panel, I'm not speaking, you know, something which is a secret. It's a very well-known fact. So do they endorse the same route? This suicide bomber route to Par? Well, I mean, if they endorse it, good luck to them. But I can tell you, this euphoria will be very, very short-lived. Very, very short-lived. And let me tell you, अब बात कर रहे हैं आज़ादी की, इंडिपेंडेंस की. आज़ादी from whom? Independence from whom? From fellow Muslims, from fellow Afghanis. What they contested was Taliban contested.
Respond to that, Omar Altaf.
Out of 34
The path of suicide bombing, that Pakistan has embarked upon will come back to bite it. That's the sum and substance of Colonel Arasan Singh's arguments. Respond to that, Omar.
Let me tell you first what the chain of slavery is. I would give you an example of that. The chain of slavery is by unleashing lynch mobs. Your Prime Minister has subjected the Indian Muslims to slavery. That is what slavery is. Shazia Ilmi would know better about that.
Omar Altaf, please shut your mouth right now. Please shut your mouth right now, because you are trying to defend the Taliban. Please, we are talking about Afghanistan.
You are lying through your teeth.
We have to get out of this kind of ridiculous mindset, sir. This entire mindset that you are trying to pro up. This entire mindset that you are trying to the cliches that you are living on, please stop dreaming those cliches. I want Shazia to quickly respond before I go back to Wahidullah. Shazia.
I mean, it's hilarious. The man has no answer. Which lynch mobs have been used against Muslims? In fact, there are people in India from different communities who've suffered. And it's nothing to do with any government, whether it's BJP or Congress. that things are primitive and sad, but there is the rule of law, and those people get punished no matter which religion they come from. So don't make it about Hindus and Muslims because that's all you think of. What about Afghanistan, where they all are Muslims? What are you doing in Balochistan and in Karachi, where they all are fellow Muslims? What about breaking fire in mosques when people are praying? They all are fellow Muslims. What are you talking about? You have no shame? You're making up a story because some stooges in India.
Well, that's the unfortunate part. How people can come and brazenly defend the Taliban. Brazenly defend the Taliban in this manner. That's what we are seeing today, ladies and gentlemen. And those are the views, unfortunately, coming in from Pakistan. No surprises there, but that's what you have in front of you. Before we end this debate, I want some quick closing remarks from Wahidullah Taniwal. Wahidullah Taniwal, you have heard how people are coming out to justify the Taliban. People are coming out to talk about how they were shackled earlier. We've spoken to you about that. At the end of this debate, as a citizen of Afghanistan, you've spoken about the pain, you've spoken about the suffering. But what would you like to tell those who are trying to project this as some kind of great achievement or great victory by pushing your country back by 20 or 30 years?
These people, they don't know the pain, they're celebrating, we have seen the tweet from the Jamiat-e-Ulama Islam from Pakistan, that is Mullah Fazl Rahman. All of you may know about him, the person who is, using the orange color turban, one of the best, trainer of terrorism, and also the brainwasher of the people, of young people who were given, gratified with the heaven. And those people, they were used by these Pakistani proxies. They don't know, we know, they feel better, they are celebrating it. Even the foreign minister has tweeted, he is saying so many things. All the world knows, who is the sponsor of terrorism and who is, the Taliban, the proxies of Pakistan. The rest of the world knows. But the fact is that, they don't know the sufferings. They cannot feel the pain of Afghan people. The women, the small children, like they are suffering from hunger. They don't have a shelter, to spend a night to have something to drink.
Well, the hunger, the suffering, the pain, the agony, all of those wanting to escape from their lives that have really, in fact, become a living hell in many, many ways. All of those citizens and the pain and suffering is very clearly reflected from the scenes that we've been seeing, particularly from the Kabul airport. And that's what we're going to be discussing in just a few minutes. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening. And the picture of a Kalashnikov on the table where former President Ashraf Ghani once sat is a clear symbol of the rule of gun in Afghanistan by the Taliban. And what's more evident today is the pictures of the pain and suffering of the common citizens who are lined up in hundreds, if not thousands, at the Kabul airport trying to escape through the various airport ladders and the aircraft ladders that we've been seeing right through the day today. These pictures really show the kind of pain and suffering that the Aam Aadmi, the citizen of Kabul, is really going through, with them clawing their way in terms of showing the kind of angst and fear that lies ahead of them. But there is a group of citizens who are terming this a peaceful and bloodless coup. There are those who are justifying what's happening there in Afghanistan. Listen in to these mind-boggling comments. Let's go across to our guests who are joining us. Shazia Ilmi as well as Arsan Singh continue to be with us. Also joining us on the panel at the moment is Waqar H. Bhatti, activist. Also with us is in fact Faiz Ahmed Faizi. Let's go right into the debate, and in fact let me take it across to Faiz Ahmed Faizi first. फैजी जी, सबसे पहला और सबसे सिंपल सवाल आपसे ये पूछना चाहूँगा, वहाँ के लोगों की जो इस वक्त दर्द आपको सामने नहीं बयां हो रही, जिस तरह के विजुअल्स दिख रहे हैं, जिस तरह लोग एयरपोर्ट पे एयरक्राफ्ट्स के पीछे दौड़ कर भागने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, कई घंटों तक चल के जा रहे हैं, खाने को वहाँ पे उनको नहीं मिल रहा कई जगहों पे, और आप कह रहे हैं कि वहाँ पे इन लोगों ने किसी तरह का फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल वहाँ पे हासिल किया है, कुछ आज़ादी हासिल करी है. किस तरह की आज़ादी से है सर? ये तो तालिबान के हाथों गुलामी है.
मैं सबसे पहले मैं उन लोगों के प्रति संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं, और जो भी वो हुकूमत पे वहाँ काबिज हुए हैं, जिस तरह उनके प्रवक्ता ने कहा कि हम सबको अमान देते हैं और कुछ दिनों में वहाँ की स्थिति सामान्य हो जाएगी, और मुझे लगता है कि जिस तरीके से उन्होंने बयान दिया है वहाँ के प्रवक्ता ने, और आने वाले वक्त में वो अहकाम इलाही और निज़ाम मुस्तफ़ा पे चलेंगे और शांति कायम करेंगे, अमन कायम करेंगे, इंसाफ कायम करेंगे।
सर कौन सी शांति की बात कर रहे हैं कि कब शांत हुए हैं तालिबान? क्या बात कर रहे हैं आप? क्या आपने इनकी पहली रजीम नहीं देखी और किस तरह की ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशंस हुए थे? तब कहाँ थे आप?
हमने नॉर्दर्न अलायंस को भी देखा है, अमेरिका ने समर्थन करके नॉर्दर्न अलायंस को भी देखा है और तालिबान को भी देखा है, इराक में भी देखा है, अफगानिस्तान में भी देखा है, फिलिस्तीन में भी देखा है। हमारी आंखें खुली हुई है, हमारे जहन रोशन हैं।
अच्छा,
हमने सभी को देखा है। हम
कर्नल आरएसएन
आतंकी के
कर्नल आरएसएन इनकी आंखें खुली हुई हैं,
समर्थक नहीं है,
इनकी आंखें खुली हुई हैं, बंद है, ब्लिंकर्ड है। आज समझ नहीं आया मेरे को। His eyes are open only to what he is calling aggression by the United States, the human rights violations, what's happening today। फैजी जी को शायद आप ये जानकारी नहीं है कि घर से घर तलाशी हो रही है, म्यूजिशियंस के, आर्टिस्ट के घरों में तलाशी हो रही है। क्या आप बताना चाहेंगे उनको कर्नल आरएसएन कि आज हो क्या रहा है?
जब सत्ता परिवर्तन
नहीं है
तो इस तरीके की तलाशी।
भाई साहब चुप हो जाओ यार।
अरे सुन लीजिए फैजी जी, बहुत हो गया, सुन लीजिए अब।
चाहे इराक
हाँ। इन्होंने आज़ादी की बात की। दिस इज बीइंग रिपीटेड सिंस इवनिंग अबाउट आज़ादी। अगेन द बेसिक क्वेश्चन इज, बुनियादी सवाल ये है कि फ्रीडम फ्रॉम इन्वर्टेड कॉमर्स फ्रॉम, freedom to, freedom from whom? Freedom from fellow Muslims, freedom from a regime run by Muslims, and freedom to do what? Freedom for Shariat, freedom to carry out oppression on children and human beings, on women, freedom to suppress the education of women and children, freedom to do what? शरीयत। ये जो भाई साहब कह रहे हैं कि निज़ाम मुस्तफ़ा, आपको मालूम है शरीयत में हाथ काट दिए जाते साहब? आप चोरी करते पकड़े गए ना, तो हाथ काट दिए जाते हैं। आज तक बताओ, क्या हिंदुस्तान या पाकिस्तान में कभी किसी का हाथ काटा गया है? या अफगानिस्तान में? आप शरीयत की बात करते हो और हिंदुस्तान की सरजमीन पे निज़ाम मुस्तफा का बात करते हो।
लोग चोरी नहीं करेंगे।
अब शरीयत लागू करो। शरीयत एंड आई लोग चोरी नहीं करते।
सबको हक
सुनो। अरे और तुम्हारे निज़ाम
कोई वैल्यू नहीं होगा।
आज तक पाकिस्तान में ये बताओ, शरीयत में किसी का हाथ काटा गया है? शरीयत के नीचे डिवोर्स जरूर हुए, तलाक जरूर होते हैं। आप ट्रिपल तलाक के भी समर्थक थे। क्या शरीयत में किसी का हाथ है? किसी का आंख लिया गया है?
तय करेगा वहाँ किस तरीके से वॉल्यूम हो रहा है।
I want to come in here. फैजी जी, आप यहाँ पे एक सेक्युलर देश में रह के आप शरीयत के इम्पोजिशन की बात कर रहे हैं, ये बहुत ही शॉकिंग लग रहा है मुझे। I want to bring in शाजिया इल्मी on that note. शाजिया इल्मी, this is absolutely, शाजिया इल्मी, one second, Colonel Arison, just let me come in here please. Because this is absolutely shocking. This is absolutely shocking today that we have someone here who is justifying the cutting of hands on public television. Shazia Ilmi, I find it absolutely mind-boggling. And in fact, फैजी जी, अगर आपको इतना ही शौक है तो आप चले जाइए अफगानिस्तान।
अभी तक अफगानिस्तान
कैसी बातें कर रहे हैं आप?
किसका रूल था?
I want to come in, Madhav, I'm appalled and shocked. There are people, मुझे अफसोस और शर्म के साथ ये कहना पड़ रहा है कि हमारे देश में, हमारी जमहूरियत में, हमारे हिंदुस्तान में ऐसे लोग हैं जो ये बात कह रहे हैं। मुझे यकीन नहीं आ रहा कि वो यहाँ बैठकर तालिबान के ना सिर्फ तारीफ़ कर रहे हैं, निज़ाम मुस्तफ़ा की बात कर रहे हैं और शरीयत की बात कर रहे हैं। ये पर्सनल लॉ में यही वो लोग थे जो माइनॉरिटी में भी अल्पसंख्यक में भी जो अल्पसंख्यक होती हैं औरतें, उनको जो कुरान ने जो हक दिए थे वो नहीं देना चाह रहे थे। और आईपीसी और सीआरपीसी यहाँ पे बड़े मानते हैं। लेकिन मैं दुनिया को बताना चाहती हूँ, और जो लिबरल लोग सुन रहे हैं जो बहुत ज़्यादा मोदी जी के खिलाफ बोलते हैं। सुनिए, ये इरादे हैं समाजवादी पार्टी के। अखिलेश यादव जी की पार्टी के लोग ये कह रहे हैं कि शरीयत लागू होनी चाहिए। बड़े लिबरल बनते हैं ना आप लोग, बहुत फिक्र होती है ना आपको महिलाओं की, और पर परेशानी होती है ना संस्कारों से। ऐसे लोग हैं जो देश में बैठकर कह रहे हैं कि निज़ाम मुस्तफ़ा होना चाहिए और शरीयत। मुझे यकीन नहीं आ रहा है, मैं ऐसे पैनल का हिस्सा नहीं होना चाहती हूँ। और माधव, आपके पैनल में, आपके टीवी शो में मैं ये सुन रही हूँ,
Well, this gentleman is from the Peace Party. Just to set the record straight, this gentleman is from the Peace Party. But let me come in here. Let me come in here. Well, absolutely shocking comments that have been made. The gentleman is from the Peace Party. I don't know if we can call him that, but Waqar Bhatti is also with us. Waqar Bhatti, are you also going to deny? Shazia, I'm coming to you. Shazia, I'm coming to you. Just calm down 1 minute. I'm just coming back to you. Let me just bring in the fourth panelist who has not yet spoken. Waqar Bhatti, are you also on national television now going to justify the comments of someone like Mr. Faizi, where he has come out and in fact even justified the cutting of hands, saying that choriyan kam hongi? Are you in agreement with him?
जरूर दूंगा।
IPC
शाजिया इल्मी जी ने, सुनिए मैडम बोलने दीजिए ना, मैडम बोलने दीजिए। मैडम जी बोलने दीजिए ना, मैं किसी के बीच नहीं बोलूंगा। आप एक
Let him speak, Shazia, let him speak, Shazia, let him speak, let him speak.
मैं शाजिया इल्मी की जगह आज मैं इनको शाजिया पंडित नाम से मैं उनको जरूर पुकारूंगा, क्योंकि इनको शरीयत से बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है। ठीक है, ये अपने नाम की जो दुकान चलाते हैं।
No, let's not make personal comments, please. 1 second, please let us not make personal comments. Nobody has made a personal comment here. Nobody has made a personal comment here, Waqar Bhatti, and nobody needs to also. We are having a mature debate on a very, very important issue. Please don't resort to this kind of, below the belt tactics by calling somebody some kind of... One second, Waqar Bhatti, 1 second. No, Waqar Bhatti, there is no reason to call anybody any name. Do you subscribe to the views of Mr. Faizi here on this panel, yes or no? If you don't, do you condemn him?
वो मेरी शरीयत के ऊपर कमेंट्स नहीं कर सकते, वो भी मेरा पर्सनल है, वो मेरा पर्सनल है। तो ये अपने नाम से दुकान चलाती है। इनको बोलिए ना शाजिया पंडित करके बोलिए, आप शाजिया इल्मी करके मत बोलिए।
What did he just say? What did he just
Waqar Bhatti,
अल्लाह के कानून से प्रॉब्लम है, इस्लाम से बात नहीं।
Waqar Bhatti, this is no way to debate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, this is no way to debate.
इस्लाम में
This is no way to debate, sir. There is absolutely, this is absolutely no way to debate. I'm going to lower your fader. I'm going to lower your fader. I'm going to lower your fader and I'm going to go across to Colonel Harrison. Colonel Harrison.
Exactly, Madhav, this is not fair.
1 second, Colonel Harrison.
These men to disrespect a woman. ये जो बदतमीजी बदतहजीब, मुझे बोलना पड़ेगा. I have to speak for myself. I'm speaking for my country and my constitution.
Okay. Shazia, go ahead. Okay, Colonel Harrison coming to you. Let Shazia respond to it.
संविधान के लिए, अपने IPC के लिए. No. I want to say this. And I want this to be the point. I'm speaking for my country and rule of law. What is wrong with that? I'm speaking for my constitution and for the IPC and CRPC. What is wrong with that? Yes, there is no Sharia in our democracy. And I'm all right with it. I'm happy with it. What's wrong with that? Should I be called names? Can this man be allowed to get away by calling me names? Does he want Sharia? Is he saying right now that he wants Sharia instead of the constitution? Please tell him to clarify that. Because he just said he Sharia ko manti hai and he tried to change my last name. Ilmi is a name given by my father. मेरे अब्बा जो दारुल उलूम से थे और नेशनलिस्ट थे, उन्होंने नाम दिया है. समझ में आया? मेरे नाम के कुछ बोला ना आपने? हिम्मत भी ना कीजिएगा.
Waqar Bhatti, all right. We have lowered Waqar Bhatti's fader. We're not going to allow him on this debate again. But I want Colonel Harrison Singh to come in on this. Colonel Harrison Singh, this is extremely problematic. Now, not only are we looking at a situation where people are defending what is happening in Afghanistan, defending Taliban, but here, they are going out to call out anybody who believes in a secular democracy. Now, this is absolutely mind-boggling, the kind of comments that we are having on this debate today. I just can't believe that there are so many people coming out with shocking statement after shocking statement.
No. People, it's not people who don't believe in democracy. It's people who don't believe in any other type of Islam than theirs. That their definition of Islam, that is the problem. After all, the protagonists in Afghanistan, 1 minute, sir, 1 minute. The protagonists in Afghanistan are both Muslims. but they don't like Ghani type of Muslims. They like Mullah Baradar type of Muslims. And a person as big as Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan had lamented about it. I was reading his autobiography. He said that these Maulanas, they have deprived our children of fair education by insisting that there should be no education in mother tongue Persian. And the Maulanas used to say, you read his autobiography, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. I wonder if these jokers have even read about it. He has said that the Maulanas would say that education in Dari or Persian, which is the mother tongue of the Afghanistan and the Pashtuns, will take you to hell. Secondly, they don't believe in the other type of Islam. Yes, what is wrong with Pandit title? There are many Kashmiri Muslims who still carry the title Pandit. Ayub Pandit, the martyr. Ayub Pandit, you have heard his, I'm sure, it has not been erased from their memories. There are so many Kashmiri Muslims who still carry their Brahminical surname. What is wrong?
Well,
This
unfortunately,
is the Indian
Colonel Harrison, Colonel Harrison, you couldn't be further from the truth in the sense that there are many such syncretic traditions in our country. What is very unfortunate, though, is the kind of narrow focus that unfortunately this entire episode has brought through, with people coming out and actually congratulating Taliban. That's something that I really thought wouldn't happen in this country. Unfortunately, there are those who not just have said it, but those who are defending such views here on our panel on national television. I'm going to leave it there for the moment. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening.